Well, hello and welcome back again to some more algebra with Mr. Robertson. So let's take out those notes and go back to where we left off. So more multiplication properties of exponents today, but before we move on too far, let's go back and make sure that we remember what we're doing. Go ahead and look at these two, hit pause, work them out, and then unpause when you're ready. Okay, hopefully you are ready. And here we go. So this 4 has no exponent here, so we're going to put a 1 there, because if there is no exponent, there's a 1. Now, does this guy like to move it, move it? Hopefully you said, no, he does not, because this has a positive exponent, so the negative 4 will stay on top. Even though there's a negative out here, remember this is just a negative number, it's not a negative exponent. However, right there, x to the negative 2 power, this guy, he likes to move it because his exponent is negative. So that negative 4 stays on the top, however the x to the negative 2 goes to the bottom. But remember, we change the negative to a positive when we switch which side it's on. Over here, remember that we can reorder everything, so we can put our x's together like this, and our y's together like that. And we know to add the exponents, so we've got 5 plus negative 9, that's going to give us a negative 4, and then negative 2 plus 2 gives us 0. Finally, our next step is, remember, we never ever have a negative exponent in our final answer. We're always going to have positive exponents. If it is a negative exponent, he likes to move it, so he is going down. So on the bottom, we're going to have an x to the 4th. Now, y to the 0 power, remember anything to the 0 power is 1, so we're just going to put a 1 there, and we're all finished. Great job. Alright, now for this one. Hopefully you remember this one. Go ahead, give this one a shot, and this will be our last review. Hit pause, do this one, and then come back. Alright, it looks to me like you're done, so let's just reorder these. We've got a 3. I'm going to put the negative 2 in parentheses because it's multiplied and it's a negative. There's x to the 5, x to the negative 8, and y to the 4th. So I put all the like things together. 3 times negative 2, that's just negative 6. Remember, with the exponents, we're going to add, so that becomes negative 3, and then y didn't have anybody to go with. Now this negative 6, it's to the 1st power, so does he like to move it? Hopefully you said no. So the negative 6 stays on top. This x has a negative exponent, so he does move it. He goes down to the bottom. That negative 3 becomes a positive 3. This y to the 4th, he stays on top. And you're all finished. Alright, so that's all the review we needed, hopefully. Now we're going to go on and move on to our next section, which is more multiplication properties of exponents. All you really need to know today are all the things that we've already learned, plus these two things. So whenever we have two exponents touching each other, they are going to multiply, just like that. So they're usually touching each other with parentheses between them, but that's okay. We're just considering the parentheses just something pretty there. So those two are touching, and they multiply. Not to be confused with before, when the bases were the same and the bases were multiplied, then the exponents we're adding. Over here, if we have an exponent on the outside and things are multiplied on the inside, we distribute that exponent to both parts, just like you did distribution earlier with addition and subtraction signs with the number in the front. So notice that this exponent goes with both the a and the b. If you're a little bit confused, do not fear. We're going to get this. Alright, so here our exponents are touching. Again, they're separated by parentheses, but we don't care about that. So we've got 3 times 6. They're touching, so they multiply. And we got 18. That's all there is to that one. Now let's move on to this one. Again, you're going to have to remember order of operations. Remember, the ones touching are going to have to go first, so we're going to distribute that negative 4 into the 3. Does it get multiplied by the 5? No, because the 5 is out here, it's not part of the inside of the parentheses. So the x to the 5 just gets copied down. I'm just going to distribute into the parentheses, which would give me negative 12 because I'm multiplying those. Now I have a problem like I did yesterday. The 5 and the negative 12, they have the same base of an x, so the 5 and the negative 12 are going to add. So I do 5 plus negative 12, that's going to give me negative 7. Remember, in the final answer, we'll never have a negative exponent, so we're going to move that guy to the bottom and make it positive, just like that. And that's your final answer, 1 over x to the 7th. Alright, you go ahead, hit pause, do this problem, and see how you do. Alright, it looks like you're about finished here. So for this one, they are both inside the parentheses. So this time we're going to distribute to both of them. So this gives me x to the negative 6, y to the positive 8. Finally, our final answer, remember, can never have a negative exponent, so we're going to square or circle or whatever has a negative exponent, it's going to go down. And then y to the 8th, it had a positive exponent, so it will stay on top. And that's it. That's your final answer for that one. Next, we're going to combine a whole bunch of stuff here, all into one. This 2 gets distributed only to that negative 2. They're touching, so they multiply. Now, remember, if we don't have an exponent, you're always going to put a 1. This is a very, very important step. If you forget to put the 1s, you will make so many more mistakes. So please, oh please, put the 1s. If it weren't true, I wouldn't be telling it to you. You will make lots of mistakes if you don't do that. So always put the 1s there. Now that 4 is going to get distributed to all of these exponents. So here we go. Now these two things, they were multiplied. You can put a little multiply sign there if you like. So I'm going to copy the bases here, 3x and y. Makes it a little bit easier on my brain. Then I'm going to go back and just do the multiplying. So 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 1, 4. And 4 times 2 is 8. Okay. Next, let's reorder everything. So I've got 3 to the 4th, x to the negative 4, x to the positive 4, and y to the 8th. That's a 4. Sorry, my handwriting is not so good on the electronic pad. Alright, 3 to the 4th power, that is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. My calculator says that is 81. Now I have negative 4 plus 4. That gives me x to the 0. And I just have one step left here. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So this is just 1 times 81, which is just 81. So it's just 81y to the 8th. And that's it for that one. Alright, you go ahead, hit pause, try this one out, give it a shot, and we'll see how you do. Alright, it's looking like you're doing well. Hopefully you remembered to put 1s for all the exponents first, and then you're going to go ahead and distribute. So I like to draw the little arrows, it helps some. You don't have to, but those 1s for exponents that are invisible, those are important. Make sure you do that. Alright, so here we go. Actually, I'm going to move my camera a little bit. There we go, that looks a little bit better. So I'm going to copy all of my bases. So the 2, the x, the 3, the x, the y. I copied all of those first. Now I'm going to go back and do all the exponents. So I've got 2 times 1, 2. 2 times negative 3, negative 6. Over here, 2 times 1, 2. 2 times 5, 10. 2 times 1, 2. Alright, just like that. Now let's go ahead and multiply out all of our exponents here with numbers. So 2 squared is 4. And the order that you do this part isn't really important. Last time I did it second. Doesn't really matter. So I've got 3 squared is 9. I'm going to put a little time sign there. And then just copy the rest. I'm going to reorder everything because that's always a good idea. I could have reordered it in this first step. That's alright. So I'm putting my numbers together. Whoops, I misspelled X. Sorry. Putting all my like letters together. Alright, so here I have 4 times 9. This is just a normal multiplication problem. So go ahead and multiply 4 times 9. That's going to be 36. Here I've got negative 6 plus 10. That's going to give me 4. And now I have 36x to the 4th y squared. There are no negative exponents and nothing else to do. So that's it. Alright. Sadly, it looks like that's all we have for this. That's your multiplying exponents. Next week, or next lesson, sorry, we're going to move on to division properties of exponents. But for now, ta-ta. I hope you have a wonderful day. Get started on that homework, and let me know if you have any questions. Come see me in those office hours. Have a great time. This is actually the song that was played at my prom.